Today's topic of discussion is uh, security issues. Well, students, security is extremely important aspect of any system. It's not only for cloud, it's for traditional computing, it's for even our personal computers and enterprise computing. Consider any computer system, even mobile also, has to be secured. uh, you get several problems. So there are several security concerns, not only in traditional environment, in cloud environment as well. Additionally, cloud environment brings a new set of security issues due to the fact that cloud infrastructure is also available to the users. Not only an application, a user can access platform, can also access the physical resources in a cloud environment. Then the security is a major concern at different levels. It's not only at one individual level where you protect that application and the entire system is secured. Therefore, uh, cloud architecture and security at different levels and responsibility of security, who should do what task in order to attain the security, and how to ensure that the devices are not vulnerable to the attacks, and what kind of attacks will happen in cloud, and how to avoid those attacks. All these topics will be discussed in this chapter, which is security issues. What is security? Security is developing resistance. Means you should not get affected. You have, if you have a good resistance, then cold may not affect you that way. So you have to develop a resistant to damage or protecting a system from any harm is security. If I take an example of a small kid, if his immunity is strong, then he develop resistance to um, playing in the rain, and having ice cream and having something else which is not good for some others kids who have not developed the resistance. That way our system, a traditional system as well as cloud system, should have the protection mechanism in order to protect the system from any harm or damage. That is the security. For instance, you have a laptop. Okay, this is you, and you have a laptop, which is nothing but a system, a computer system. Whose responsibility is to protect this computer system? It is your responsibility. Here, you have to purchase a good antivirus software, and then if you are taking it to college, you have to keep it in lock. You cannot leave it anywhere and go to some other place and come back. You may not find it. So there might be physical theft, there might be logical theft in which your applications might get compromised. A hacker may hack, and fraudsters may obtain the confidential sensitive information and can do fraud. You can be vulnerable to scams. There's so many things, you have to secure and protect. So you should have a lock and key and a locker in college to protect physical theft, and antivirus and malware, anti-malware, and different um apps that will ensure that no harmful program or app can cause any harm to any of the apps, or can obtain uh, sensitive information stored in your laptop. You don't want all that, right? So that is your responsibility. Consider our college. In our college we have labs, we have computer labs, and then we have servers as well. Whose responsibility is to protect? There also, the problem of physical theft and logical theft exists. Someone is responsible there. The teachers and students and administration all are responsible. So there are three people who are responsible to protect the or secure the computer systems in college. Likewise, it's not only a single person's responsibility to protect uh, the cloud system. All right. And if you consider in cloud, there are primarily two stakeholders: providers, cloud providers, and cloud consumers or users, cloud users. What are the concerns with respect to cloud providers? They want to uh, safeguard their physical resources, that is being exposed through as service. They would like to um, safeguard their platform which is being provided to users through PaaS service, and they also would like to protect their apps which they have um, given access to users on payment basis. So they would like to, cloud providers would like to safeguard all these. And what this cloud user concern is, cloud user might store the information sensitive information in the cloud. So cloud user does not want anyone to have access to this. Even this cloud provider should not know what is there in that. Although a provider is giving the services in the form of as, PaaS or SaaS, they should not be allowed to view what is there in their applications or in their documents, that whenever it is sensitive. Whenever, students please mute the mics. Whenever it is sensitive, right? So uh, uh, and this cloud user also would like to have their applications and their information available. It should be available to, it should be, it should not be revealed, it should be available only to the authenticated user, or the owner of the information. He is the owner of the information, so he expects that information is not known to others, it is hidden, and it is available only to him or her, not to others. So information availability, that is also concern of the client. So consumer, so what consumer have to do, consumer have to verify and make sure that all the possible security measures have been taken by this cloud provider. If you take an analogy, we are hearing that now colleges and schools might reopen. So if you consider school reopening, then some precautionary measures have to be taken by the school authorities and administration. That is what is their concern. They don't want anyone to get affected, and also they want to ensure that their premises is also safeguarded. um, because they are putting so many different useful uh, elements there, like sanitizers and all. Those also should not get stolen. That is their concern. And what are the students and parents concerns? Students and parents, their concern is that these school administration has taken proper precautionary measure or not, whether it is safe for us to go or not. All right. So same, you can say that this cloud provider like school administration, and cloud user like a student and parent. What is the importance of SLA in the context of security? SLA is service level agreement, and it is between providers and consumers. If providers state that it provides encryption for all the documents that are stored in its purview, um, in its environmental purview, then that is stated here, then consumer expects that there is a um, total confidentiality maintained. The consumer's data is not exposed to anyone else, and it is totally encrypted. Even if it is exposed, it cannot be understood because it is in some scrambled format, unreadable format, you know, a format which cannot be understood if it is in encrypted format. So that is, and consumer says that okay, I'm ready to pay this much if you provide me encryption. That is an agreement, an agreement that establishes a trust relationship, because provider trusts that consumer will pay and consumer trusts that provider will actually implement all the statements whatever have been specified. Okay, and SLAs between cloud service providers and consumers should have a detailed mentioning of security capabilities of the solution and the security standards. Everything should be clearly stated in a detailed format. Later, if provider denies or a consumer makes false allegations, both will not work out, because uh, in a meticulously and organized and detailed manner everything will be specified. If there is something which is not mentioned in the SLA, then it is not expected, not provided. But something which is mentioned must be provided and is expected. Therefore, SLA document plays a very vital role in security management for consumers um, who are willing to move to cloud. Before delving deeper into all the security aspects related to cloud, let us understand some of the um, concepts related to security. What is a threat? Threat is an event that can cause harm to a system. All right. So, what threat uh, is there for your own laptop? You have physical, uh, theft threat of uh, the laptop being stolen. That is one threat. Or the threat of somebody damaging your laptop, breaking it and not taking it away, leaving it there only but breaking it. That's some harm has happened to the system. That is the threat. All right. So what does threat do? Threat damage the system's reliability. Okay, you don't trust the system if uh, you know damages occur to the system, and confidentiality and availability or integrity of information is also demoted. Threats can be malicious, that malicious threats in the sense that somebody is doing deliberately to cause the harm, and sometimes it might be unintentional. For instance, deleting a file, your friend deletes important file, not knowing that it will cause some harm to you. It's unintentional. Vulnerability it refers to the weakness or the flaw in a system. If there is a weakness or a flaw in a system, it is more vulnerable to the damage, and it is prone to the threat. Okay. uh, and then risk. Risk is the ability of a threat to exploit vulnerabilities and thereby causing harm. What is a risk? If suppose you have uh, an example, an analogy, and let me give you an analogy. There are two students in the class who don't gel well, don't mingle well, and there is a animosity between them. Animosity between them means some kind of enmity. So, and this student has the problem of forgetfulness. Forgetfulness. So, forgetfulness, and this student has one laptop, and this is S1 and S2. This S2 wants to do some harm to this laptop, and because S1 is vulnerable. Why S1 is vulnerable? Because he has a weakness. What is the weakness? That he forgets. If he forgets to keep the laptop uh, in a lock, then he can get it. So that is the risk. What is the risk? Risk is that the damage may happen to this laptop by this one when this one forgets to keep it in safe place. Likewise, there are several hackers and fraudsters, spammers, um, illegal and illegitimate activity performers. There are so many evil people on the internet, and if you if the provider, so cloud provider or the cloud consumer does not take proper care, then their system or apps or documents are vulnerable to the risk of um, the sensitive information being stolen, risk of the um, physical harm to the system, and risk of information being stolen, information being used, stolen information being used to create problems. All these things are there. And what are the threats? Eavesdropping means um, capturing the data packets while transmission. Fraud. Fraud means doing some fallacious transactions like bank frauds. Okay. uh, thre- theft. Theft means stealing of the secrets or data. Sabotage means uh, disrupting. Disrupting means changing the data. Disrupting data integrity means changing the data. Suppose if I tell you that I am going to take class tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So this data has to travel from one place to another place. While transmission, if someone listens the network to obtain the message, that is eavesdropping. And if suppose I am sending here to bank my OTP or account number something, if someone can eavesdrop and can make a fraud, fallacious transaction. Or if I am sending um uh, important information related to the department, hmm, uh, then somebody can listen and somebody can steal the uh, that confidential information. For instance, who is setting the paper? If I'm sending this information, or if I'm sending the question paper which I have set to the exam branch, so mm, somebody can eavesdrop, gets the access and do sabotage. Do sabotage means if I write question number 1 as explain cloud computing, they may change it to something else. That is sabotage. and that includes delaying production or denial of service attack. Delaying production means you want to you send some information that to do some work, and they may say that don't do at this time, do later, somewhere sometime later. So that is delaying. Denial of service attack means if this is an important person to be contacted, and there is a um, there is a evil person, who just blocks this person by sending so many requests that this person cannot take any other request because he is busy doing the assigned task of this one. And these assigned tasks are meant only to disrupt the uh, whole service. Others cannot. So that is denial of service attack. External attack, like insertion of malicious code or virus. What are the threats to cloud security? There are threats to infrastructure, threats to information, threats to access control. Threats to infrastructure occurs at three levels: application level, host level, network level. And threat to information, this occurs at the data level. And threats to access control, uh, this is about giving permissions so that the intended user gets the copy and not the one who is not having any permission to access. Unauthorized access is avoided uh, if you have a proper access control mechanism, and if it is not, then there is a threat. If you don't protect your data properly, then there is a threat to information. If you don't protect your application or your host or your network, then there are threats to your infrastructure at application level, host level, or network level. Cloud model has some unique security concerns. Uh, Besides having the similar security concerns as in the traditional computing environment, it has several others due to the fact that its resources are shared and there is a multi-tenancy feature. And also cloud is essentially outside of the um, enterprise environment unless it is a private cloud or a hybrid cloud. The most prevalent cloud, which is a public cloud, is outside of anybody's control. That gives rise to several security concerns. Infrastructure security, this is done at infrastructure security is done at the three levels. So this is divided into three categories: network level, host level, and service level. Network level means, wait, I'll tell you. So this network level security risks, network level, this is our network. This network level security risk exists for all cloud computing services which are SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS, and also for all cloud deployment types which are private, public, and hybrid. All right. And what happens is, in this, data confidentiality should be ensured, integrity and availability. These are the responsibilities of network level infrastructure security arrangement. Network level infrastructure security arrangement should ensure data confidentiality, integrity and availability. In what way? At the network level, anyone can gain access to uh, the transmission which is happening. It can be data transmission in any form. So that has to be, preserved, means the contents should be preserved, should be protected actually, and should not be understood or easily comprehended by uh, non-intended users, and no one should be able to modify the contents. Like example I gave you, question paper. If one of the students is a hacker, what he can do? He can gain the access to my network, obtain the question paper, change it and forward it. I will not know that my question paper is not sent, and the controller will also not know that in the transmission during transit it has been changed. Okay, so that is, integrity should be preserved. Availability, it should be made available to the intended users. That is, these are the responsibilities of network level infrastructure. How do you achieve that? This is encryption, and this is digital signatures. Here digital signatures for encryption, and yeah, you can use some mechanisms like message digest, secure hash for integrity. For availability, you can you have to have a server that is up and running. Host level security. Host level security is uh, the security of physical machines, because host refers to physical machines, and you have to protect the physical machine. uh, it is done through a hypervisor. There is a hypervisor, a layer of virtual machine monitor. This hypervisor will ensure that no user bypass it and gains access to the actual device. However, there is a problem known as VM escape problem, and this problem is refers to a situation uh, in which people gain access, bypass, means they just bypass this virtualization layer. This is virtualization layer, and here you have a physical resources. They just bypass this and obtain access to physical. This is VM escape problem. uh, Generally, virtualization layer which has a hypervisor is quite strong and does not allow anyone to access physical resources. And the responsibilities of host level security management includes, for SaaS and PaaS consumer, service providers would not publicly share details regarding host platform. They don't share what is the operating system or which security management mechanism they have leveraged, because they feel that if people know about this, the users, um, a ill-intentioned user can exploit that and can cause harm. So the provider will not reveal the platform, the physical details to PaaS users and the platform details to the SaaS users. All right, so security responsibility of host in PaaS and SaaS depends on service providers, largely depends on service providers. And for as users, they share equal responsibility of securing the host along with the providers. For as consumer, there are two types of consumers here. This is first one, which is SaaS and PaaS. Second one, as SaaS and PaaS, the responsibility lies on providers. For as, responsibility is consumers. And then application level security, the third one. In this, the provider and the consumer should ensure that no application can harm to the infrastructure. For that, essentially we have as application security, then PaaS and SaaS. Okay, because application security is at uh, three levels. You know, for as level, users are accountable for managing and securing the virtual servers. You know that here you have user, this is SaaS, this is PaaS, this is as. User can avail only SaaS service, user can avail PaaS service, or user can also avail as service. These type of users are responsible and accountable for managing and securing virtual servers. PaaS, it is divided into two stages. This first stage, security of the PaaS platform. Second stage, security of consumer application. So PaaS service providers are responsible for securing platform. This is the responsibility of providers, cloud providers. And security management of applications deployed on PaaS is the responsibility of cloud users. SaaS application security. In SaaS model, everything is available on the cloud. User access an application that has already been deployed. Therefore, the SaaS level management security responsibility lies majorly on provider and minorly on consumer. SaaS model, responsibility of provider is to manage the complete set of applications, and consumer at SaaS level manage complete set of. SaaS level consumer responsibility is only operational. Operational means they have to ensure that they are the ones who are accessing at operation level. Look at this graph. This graph shows um, the magnitude of consumers responsibility. At as level it is very high, at SaaS level it is quite low, and PaaS level it is moderate. It is shared equally with provider. So at IaaS level, consumer responsibility is too high. Why? Because consumer is trying to use the physical computing services provided by the CSPs, means cloud service providers. Safety and security of the physical system. Uh, you have a cloud. This cloud, so far we discussed about how to logically protect it, but in order to protect it physically, you need to have UPS, because power supply, power um, spontaneous power failures, or voltage fluctuations will cause physical damage. And uh, safety measures against fire, and adequate cooling and ventilation facility, and restriction on physical access, and physical protection for routers and cables. All these are equally important to protect the physical systems. In this you have systems, right? In order to protect them, all these things are it. Next, information security. Information security deals with the security policies um, related to an information system. Oh, you are studying information security, right? Information security deals with number of critical issues. What are the critical issues? Like confidentiality, integrity, and so on. Three fundamental principles of information security are confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And together they are known as CIA triad. CIA triad stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the data. And this information security is not specific to cloud, it's general. On any computing platform you have this. uh, Students, please mute. So confidentiality is preventing the intentional or unintentional leakage of sensitive content. How do you achieve confidentiality? To achieve confidentiality, encryption is the most important process, and traffic analysis is also important in order to know that is there any attack on the traffic, on the network. And covert channels, this is specific to a cloud. This is specific to cloud because a covert channel is a path that establishes illegal pass information between elements of a system, and it can exploit the weakness of the system design and utilizes system resources for evil purposes. All right. Covert channel is particularly important in cloud, because cloud environment is open to all. Anyone who pay is given the access, and there is no that such mechanism wherein you identify a person to be an evil person and don't give access to the cloud. In a public cloud anyone can pay and use, right? So that is a new threat. A covert channel is a new threat to confidentiality in virtualization based cloud system. Integrity is the protection against intentional or unintentional alteration of the information. Availability ensures reliable. And now how do you do that? How do you do this? uh, the mechanisms we have that. Here we are not talking about technical, but then at a higher level, you can go for firewalls or intrusion detection, um, to restrict the access to the information that can be altered. More technical details are available for maintaining the integrity of the data. Availability, reliable and timely access. And this availability is very interesting. You look at here, availability of servers should um, have 9 digit, 5 digit, 5 nines. In other words, 5 nines. If there are 5 nines, then per year you will have only 5 minutes downtime. Per day, it's mm, just 1 microsecond might be. uh, and sometimes what happens, if the provider says the availability is 99%, then per day the downtime is 14 seconds. Okay. And what happens here? No, minutes, sorry. This is hours, minutes, seconds. Okay, so this is 1 second, 1 second downtime. This is 14 minutes downtime. So that comes to 7 hours per month. So this is, let me check again. Right. So here it is given hours, minutes, and seconds. Okay. So even 99% availability implies there is a 14 minutes downtime per day. Sometimes even some enterprises cannot afford this much downtime as well. They have to have the system running for 24 hours without any interruption or breakdown. All right, this is about availability. So the most desirable is 5 nines, 99.999% availability. Protection of information from undesirable circumstances. What are the undesirable circumstances that may arise? There is a scenario one in which cloud provider declares bankruptcy. I am not able to pronounce it. So in this situation, what has to be done? There should be some policy. There should be some alternative uh, provided to the consumer. Scenario 2, if the provider um is changed, means taken over by some other provider. These things happen. These things happen in our real world also. Like there was one provider, mobile service provider, Aircel, and they have declared that they are closing it. And there was one service called Hutch that was taken over by Vodafone. Like that happens in even in real life. So same thing occurs for cloud. So what is to be done if cloud service is discontinued? For everything, there should be some policy, and all the things must be mentioned in SLA. Okay, service level agreement. This identity management and access control we will study tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll try to complete this chapter. Any doubts, students, in today's class? Have you all started writing assignments? Do you find it difficult or easy, or what is your experience? Please share with me. I'll let you know the last date for the submission. Uh, for writing 5 or 6 questions, 2 weeks are adequate. What do you say, students? For 2 weeks, everyone is okay? Is everyone okay for 2 weeks? Very good. So, today, I think on Monday I posted or Tuesday I have posted. Okay, forget about this week. Um, let us take let us take from today's date. If you 14th October means 28 October is okay. 28 October is the last date for the submission of assignment. Okay, students, then bye bye. See you tomorrow.